Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. In this video, I will be sharing with you my Forex weekly market analysis, trade ideas, and the setups I'm looking at for this week. As you know from the videos I made before, that I try to create my videos on weekly basis, where simply I discuss what happened in the previous week and what I do expect or forecast in the coming week, right? So I had already my first video, which I published 2 weeks ago, and I was supposed to make one last week as well, but I couldn't make it as I was on vacation. So I'm starting again from this week, and later on I will do it on weekly basis. So let's jump to chart, or actually before going to chart, as you also noticed from my previous video, I like always to start with fundamentals, right? To see what are the news, what is going to happen in the coming week. And using that, I can simply forecast where I do expect volatility and on which pairs. And based on that, I can plan my trades in better way. So going to Forex Factory, which I like to use for the like fundamentals to see like the news, and we can see on Monday, which is today, like nothing major happening apart like we have the Fed Chair Powell speaks, and that's definitely can impact the US dollar, right? Moving to Tuesday, like nothing major happening. Wednesday, so we can see that we have some news on GBP and some news on USD. Yeah, so mainly like on Wednesday, we have GBP and USD news. Thursday, we can see that we have some news on Swiss franc and on euro. And when it comes to Friday, like nothing really happening. So as a summary for this week, there are some news happening on US dollar, on euro, on GBP, and on Swiss franc. That means that on these four pairs, I personally expect the biggest volatility, right? And also one thing which we cannot dismiss, like last week, the Fed in US, they increased the interest rate from 0.25 to 0.50. And that definitely makes the US dollar stronger. And also it can impact the market in different ways. Like we can expect that gold simply might, like all investors start to sell gold and reinvest their monies in US dollar, right? And we can expect also that some countries with the high inflations, they might struggle more right now, like for example, Turkey or some countries from Latin America, and also some countries from Middle East as well, right? So we know that this week we have news on US dollar, euro, GBP, which is British pound, and Swiss franc. Moving to charts right now. I always like to start with the dollar index because that can help me like to understand more what is happening. And as we obviously know that US dollar is like biggest and the strongest actually currency in the market, and that can control different currencies as well, right? So on weekly, we can see that since May 2021, the US dollar is kind of an uptrend, creating higher lows, higher high, higher lows, higher high, higher lows, and higher high. And here we are technically at the third touch of the trend line, which also we do know that the third touch of the trend line is the strongest. Okay, so usually I would say that probably price would come here at least to retrace before continuing higher. But one thing to keep in mind is what I mentioned that last week, the Fed actually increased the interest rate to 0.50 from 0.25, which means it's not necessarily that we see retracement. It might happen, but also it might not. So what we do in that case, we should actually look at the price action at this area. Moving to daily time frame. These arrows here, the yellow arrows, these are from my video on work week 10. And it was actually at this point here. It was 7th of March. And I did say that I do expect the price will come to this area here, which is third touch of this trend line. And also from here, it's kind of like the 61.8% of the fib. And also to retest of this broken resistance as a support before moving higher, right? Which actually is a price from here moved lower, but then it started to move higher again due to the increase of interest rate, which makes dollar definitely stronger. In the 4-hour time frame here, we can see that the price created a double top, right? Which is okay. From what we know in any technical analysis, like double top is a good sign to sell. But looking at the bigger picture, we can see that the price here is consolidating, right? Here we can see double top, but we can see on the 4-hour time frame double bottom as well. Usually the price consolidate where simply they don't know what will be next, like if simply it should go higher or lower. And this is usually we see it like across different pairs in different markets as well, right? This is a consolidation before the next move. So at the moment, I just would like to see what will happen here. As far as the price didn't move from here anywhere, right? I'm not going to simply take any trade, right? Unless I can simply have more confluences before taking the trade. What I mean by that, like if I will not see a strong break here, and then for example, come to retest, so maybe it will come here, or also it can be that we see that the price break above this consolidation area and then to come here and then before moving higher. So these are the scenarios which I would like to see right now. I'm not going to take any trade on US dollar when I see a break above this. I need to see the break above or below and then come to retest, because it might just like break above or below, but then come again to the range, as that might be kind of like fake out. That's why I would maybe think about any trade in the retests if it will happen, right? So this is about the US dollar. Then moving to the oil. On weekly time frame, and definitely, like as I mentioned in my previous video, I really try to avoid trading oil or gold for the time being because it's so volatile due to what is happening between Russia and Ukraine, and simply it doesn't meet my trading strategy, right? Because in general, for US oil and gold, I do use a 40 pips stop loss. And in such market, you can just like, and I showed this example in the midweek review, which I made 2 weeks ago. Like I did expect that the price will go up, right? And I usually trade only on limit orders, so buy limit or sell limit, right? And I did say that the price will go up, and just like I put the trade with 40 bips stop loss, but I didn't take the trade. I just like put the setup on trading view, and you can check my video. And actually what the price did, it just like hit my stop loss, and then it moved in the direction which I was expecting, but it was just so volatile. And what I would say, and what I encourage everyone is like, if you have a trading strategy, you have to follow the strategy no matter what, right? Don't let the greed control you. You need to follow the strategy. You need to have a discipline in order to succeed in this market, right? But like you see, like kind of weeks on like, weekly basis, this is just like nuts. Yeah, this is just crazy for me. Yeah, like you see how it is right now. So for the time being, I'm just like not even analyzing it, because it doesn't make any sense for me to trade oil or gold for the time being, right? So moving to just gold to have a look at it, we can see that we are in uptrend as well. I'm not taking any trades. I'm just like sharing with you what I do expect on the market here. We can see that we have a trend already. We have first, second, and third touch of the trend line. As we know, the third touch is the strongest. So as I said, like here is the first one, and here is second one. Okay. And here is the third one. Okay. And as I said, like third touches of the trend line is always the strongest. And right now we have the second, right? But in general, what I do expect that we will start to see some sell-off on gold. Why? Because as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, that we could see increase in the interest rate on US dollar, right? So what I would expect from here is that maybe at least we'll come to this area. How? I don't know. It's so volatile, and I'm not even planning to invest any time, to be honest, to even analyze it properly, right? And this is just, I made it for fun here. Like, you know, I do expect that the price might come here, right? And then go here. Yeah. So like the price to come to this point here, just create like inverse head and shoulder with this. So left shoulder, head, and right shoulder. And then to go here to also do retest the broken trend line, and then maybe we come here, right? So I will just like leave it for the time being. But what I'm saying is that I'm not actually going to take any trade on gold for the time being, right? Then moving to Euro USD. So we can see, and actually like 2 weeks ago, Euro was just dying. Why? Due to what is happening between Russia and Ukraine, like the massive increase in the oil price, which simply means like, you know, countries have to pay more in euros, like to get the oil, and also like everything is happening in Europe, which is simply just like impacting the euro as a currency itself, right? And I was saying that the price at this point was here, and I was saying that this is the third touch of the trend line on weekly time frame. And as we agreed that the higher the time frame is, the stronger it is. So when it comes to weekly time frames, these are very strong, right? Even though like here this trend line is starting from 2000, right? And to be honest, I don't like to go far behind when it comes to any like, you know, like trend lines or like any supply zones or like demand zones, etc., right? So I would say like maybe from here, right, which is in 2020. And what I was saying in my previous video from here is that I would like to see like how the price will react. And actually what happened, if we move to daily, the price actually started to move higher from here. But from my experience in Forex market, price just don't move from one point to another. So price will not come like, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, and just like without retesting any of these areas, right? Price like to retest the area a couple of times. Good example of that without going far behind is just here. So price was here, came here, and then what happened next? Price came again to retest this area, which is here, and then moved lower. So this is what I want to say, that the price doesn't move from point A to point B straight away. It happens sometimes, right? But most of the time, we see that the price like to retest the area one more time, right? Which is also creating kind of formation. So here we could see like double top, and then the price moved lower. I would expect as well something here, right? So price came here, right? On daily time frame, it moved higher, but it didn't test this area anymore. And this is what I would expect something to happen here again. And here on 4 hours time frame, and this is also from my previous video, we can see here, like, you know, just like I put this trend line right now, simply broke it here, which is broke to this lines. And as I promised in my previous videos, that I will make another video to explain all these lines which I have here, and how price, as you can see, is kind of retracing from these lines like precisely. You can see how the price is retracing from here, how it's retracing from here, here as well, right? Here too. So as you can see, here we adjust the trend line, and I do expect that probably price will come to retest this area again, right? And just like before, moving forward, you see here I put this range, this like range here, just like to show the consolidation here, which was happening in my last video. And you see what happened here. So the price was actually consolidating here, and it broke up, right? But what happened? Came to retest it again to the T. Look how precise it is. And then it moved higher. That's why I said I would like to see what will happen here. I'm not going to take any trade just once I see breakout. Yeah, I need to see a retest as well. Yeah. So what happened here? Price broke the consolidation zone, come to retest it, and then moved higher, right? And this is just how does it work, I would say. Yeah. And I would like to see right now what will happen here in this area. I do expect that the price will come here, or even actually it can go lower. It can go actually, can continue its way down to the 1.0750. But once again, it's too early right now to take any trade. It's just Monday. And like last week, we had this big fundamental. So I would give it more time. Maybe I will wait, I don't know, like to Tuesday or Wednesday to take any trade. Yeah, definitely, if any. Yeah, but yeah, just like to see here, maybe just we can put one trend line from here. Just like to see how the price will react to this. But for the time being, I would say maybe if the price can come lower here, and then maybe, I don't know, come here to, I don't know, like that way, if the price will come here and then up here to create like head and shoulder, maybe down. But once again, for the time being, like nothing to take on this. And yeah, I will leave it as it is, because like nothing really appearing for me on this one. Yeah, moving to Euro GBP. Well, Euro GBP, to be honest, like I didn't trade this pair, I don't know, for the last maybe 6-7 months, because to be honest, like nothing really happening, and nothing really happening according to my trading strategy, because I know that there are a lot of traders can trade it and they can make money out of it, or can lose money as well, right? But for me and for my trading strategy, I really don't see anything like interesting for me. Maybe here I would say, like you see, like on like 4 hours time frame, I would say that yes, there is a consolidation happening here, right? And I would like to see maybe what will happen. Same story with like US dollar index, right? Meaning, like I would like to see if the price will come, break above, retest, and then up, or same story here, if the price will break below, come retest, and simply move lower. But anything in between here, it's not interesting for me, to be honest, right? That's why I will move to GBP USD. In GBP USD, so I did, okay, let's go to weekly time frame. So in weekly time frame, we can see that also the GBP was in an uptrend since 2020, March 2020, so exactly 2 years ago, right? It was an uptrend. But inside this uptrend, we could see on a daily that there is a downtrend happening here, right? Where simply we can see the first touch of the trend line, second touch, yeah, and here also first touch, second touch, and barely we can say third touch. I did enter a trade here, right? And the trade was just perfect, right? And I was talking about it in like my video 2 weeks ago. And I did enter here. It was like with 30 pips stop loss. So if I put it here, right? So it was with 30 pips stop loss, but simply price just like tapped my entry point and straight away went into profit. And usually, according to my strategy, once the price reach 1% profit, I move stop loss to break even. And then I have the trade risk free. And I don't close, like most of the time, I don't close my position 100%, but I like to scale it. What I mean that, for example, I do have usually per trade like 3 to 4 targets, right? Target points or target areas. And at each of these target areas, I like to close 30% or 40%. And if, for example, I have 2 target areas, I like to close at the first target, I don't know, 50 or 60%, and then I leave like, I don't know, 30 or 40% running. Yeah. So what I do, once the price move 1% into profit, I move stop loss to break even. So I have a risk-free trade. Step number 2, I like to take profits out of the table or off the table. I'm sorry. And when I take it at the points which I do identify based on my strategy. And then later I just like, follow the rest of my rules, right? So I did take like first 30% here, and then second 30% I took it here, and then right now, and I'm sorry, and then I took another, I believe like 10% or 15% here, and then I have like last 10% running, right? Which is simply like, it doesn't bother me, just like, like 10%, and it's in profit. And actually I moved my stop loss here right now. So even if the price will come here, like last 10% will close actually with some profit already. But this trade initially is a trade of like, as you can see here, like 14%. One thing which I would say, and it's maybe hard to understand, but it comes with experience. You don't need 100 trades per month. All what you need is one good trade. And this is as far as you have the right risk management and right strategy. You can have 3, 4, 5 trades with loss, and each trade is 1%. At least I'm talking about myself right now. So I have like, minus 4%, right? But then with one trade, which is 14%, then I end the month by plus 10%. Plus 10%, this is like something amazing you should be proud of, right? Don't be like so greedy and like watching social media and like, yeah, I would love to, I don't know, make 10% a day. Is it possible? I don't know. It didn't work for me. Maybe it works for some of you. Maybe it works for someone out there. But for my trading strategy, I care really about my like psychology and like how comfortable I am. I don't like to be stressed, or I don't like to be sitting in front of the screens all day long. I have my life, and simply trading is additional source of income for me, right? So this is just like what I wanted to say. Yeah. So coming back to this on daily time frame. So I would like to see how the price is going actually to react to this area. What I mean by that, okay, let's put this back. What I mean by that, I would like to see if the price is going actually to break above, and if it will, I would like to see the retest, and maybe I will take a buy trade from here, and I will be hedging my like short position. That's scenario number 1. Scenario number 2, I would like to see what will happen here as well. If it will close below, maybe then we can see something here, and then enter another, position. Once again, it's good to keep in mind what happened to US dollar last week, and definitely how to say, like, factor that in any of the trades I'm going to take and also you're going to take. But on 4 hours time frame, I would like to see what will happen here. And why I have this area? Because here it might be like the inverse head and shoulder, right? So like here we have left shoulder, here head, and here might be the right shoulder, right? But in overall, sorry, we are in a downtrend. On daily basis, we are on a downtrend. On 4 hours time frame, we are on downtrend. Lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, and maybe to any area here. Up to this point here, price can even go up to this point and we are still in downtrend. A lot of people would say right now, oh no, actually the price broke this trend line. So right now we actually, it's time to buy. No, because there is a market structure. And this is the last lower high. As far as the price is below the last lower high, we are still in a downtrend, right? So personally, I would like to see how the price will react here and also how the price will react here. Maybe the price will come to the retrace to the 61.8, and from here maybe it will be a good opportunity for me to buy. But definitely I'm going to keep you updated on that, right? But in general, GBP USD is one of the currencies I'm interested in. And keeping in mind, as I mentioned, for this week we have news on the GBP and we have news on the USD. So definitely that's a pair which I am looking at for this week. Going to GBP GBY. So actually I had a loss on this pair last week. And at any time I say a loss, it means 1% of my capital, because this is my role. I never ever risk more than 1% per trade, right? So if you watched my last video, you would remember that the price was here, and I did say that I do expect that the price will come to retest the following. One, the broken trend line, which we can see here on weekly, this trend line. So to retest it, right? Two, to retest this broken support area as a resistance. Three, to simply come at the 61.8. But what happened? Simply price continued the move higher. Okay, let me move this and I will explain why I have it here. Right, I had this arrow. You can check them on my last video. Right, let me just show you my trade. Just let's put here. So what I was expecting, the trade was like this. Okay, let's go to 4 hours time frame. So the trade was like this, to come to retest the broken trend line, which was coming here, and just like make it invisible on the 4 hours, and also to retest this area. That's why I had these arrows, right? And then move lower. And the price came here, but we could see last week that GBP, like the British pound, actually got strong across the board, right? And that's why it continued the move higher. And the question now is, do I care that I lost this trade? No. Why? Because at the end of the day, it's only 1% of my capital. Second, do I really care that I lost this trade? No. Why? Because you will never, ever win every single trade. Did I really care that I lost this trade? No. Why? Because actually I had like at least 3 confluences to take it, and that's already was enough for my strategy, right? Last one, did I really care that I lost this trade? No. Why? Because I lost 1% here, but I did already like 12% on GBP USD. So at the end of the day, I am in plus, right? But just like from being very honest and transparent with you, I just like left it on the chart right? Even though it was like 1 week ago, I left it on the chart to share it with you and show you that even I'm sharing with you wins and losses, right? Right now, I will remove it from here. And actually, what I did, I was saying, okay, Bryce, actually, I lost one trade, and Bryce didn't respect my 61.8 Fibonacci and moved higher. But also one tip, you can keep it for yourself, okay, that when the price break the 50 or 61.8% on Fibonacci, the price would come and test it before moving higher or lower. What I mean by that, let me move this right now. This one. What I mean by that, my trade was here. And I was saying that the price will go lower from here. But what happened actually is that the price continued the move up and hit my stop loss. And here we have the 61.8. And here, as you can see, I put this on trading view, but I didn't take this trade myself because I was on vacation last week. And like when I'm on vacation, I don't trade at all. But I said that the price will come where it tests the 61.8, but I put it a bit below. Why? Because here we have this like 2 weeks, and we have this one too. And I said that the price will come to retest the 61.8 and then move higher, right? And actually, what the price did, you can see if I did take this trade, I would have easily, let's just zoom to show you, I would be easily, like you see, 5.16% plus. Actually, the price even continued the move higher, right? It would be 13% profit trade, but I didn't take it. And actually my setup was just like, to come here 5.17. So if I did take this trade, right, I lost 1%, but I made 5, which at the end of the day leave me with plus 4% on this pair. I'm not counting the other pairs. And this is what you need to keep in mind. This is a mindset you need to have in general. It's not about winning every single trade. The market is exactly like life. It's about give and take. And you will never ever win every single trade. You need to lose some. You need to give something to the market in order to be able to take something out of the market. You can actually, with your strategy, leave 1 or 2 or 3% to the market, but you can take 10, 15, or 20% out of the market. And this is a mindset which you should have. At the end of the day, you are a trader. And a trader means like giving and taking, right? But anyway, I just like left this one. I didn't take this trade, but just like to show you, it was just like according to my setup. I know that it came very close to my stop loss, right? But at the end of the day, I didn't take it anyway. Yeah. And it was just like showing that my strategy works. Yeah. So right now, going to the daily time frame, I remove this and we can look at it right now. That was quite interesting breakout in general. And what to do in that case is simply to adjust the trend line to this one right now. So this is like second point, the trend line. So it will be good to see what will happen here because already we have a triple top. From my experience, I would say price probably will break this area and probably it will go to the 160 or at least 158.75. Or maybe it will be quadruple top. And in that case, maybe you look at it. But for the time being, I'm not really interested in any trade on the GBP, GBY, even though it's one of my favorite pairs in general to trade. Yeah. So let me just like put it here. And yeah, I will be like, following up on that. Right now, moving to Euro Australian. So we know that this week we have some news in Euro, but we don't have any news on Australian. And same story to what I discussed with Euro USD. Like 2 weeks ago, we could see that Euro was dying. Like it just like in 1 week dropped from 1.55 to 1.50, or actually even lower. This is around like 600 pips, like move in 1 week, right? Like, and that was simply in the time when the war between Russia and Ukraine started. And like we can see how strong this move is, right? So the price came here, and then I said it will be good to see what is happening, or what will happen actually at this third touch of the trend line, right? And we can see here, yeah. So on daily time frame, the price just retraced and moved up. And what I'm actually like expecting, or what I would love to see, but like one thing as well to keep in mind as a trader, you don't trade what you wish for, you trade what you see, right? And as I said before, that price just came here and moved straight away up. Does it really function like that in the market? No, at least not 90% of the time. What I mean by that is that the price at least need to come here, I don't know, to create double bottom, or to continue the move lower, or like, you know, to retrace from, I don't know, like fib, and start to create like higher lows and higher highs. This is what I would expect. What I would personally say, that maybe the price will come to this 61.8, right? And then from here, price will move higher to create the right shoulder to this left shoulder. So we can see left shoulder, head, and maybe here will be the right shoulder, and then we continue the move lower. This is a scenario which I do expect. This is a scenario which, to be honest, I would love to see, because in that case, I would like to take this trade in both ways. I would like to take the trade long from here to the right shoulder, and from here to C, and maybe we move lower. Actually, this trade has a very, very nice confluences. What I mean by that? So, as I said here, the 61.8 retracement. That's number one. Number two, we have this like turquoise line, which is the 4 hours right now is support, right? Number three is this area, which I would say is kind of like here, it was resistance, support, kind of support, and support here. But I do expect that the price will come a bit lower here, just to tap this, and like, you know, to go below this zone, right? And I would say like just a bit to manipulate it here, go up to have the right shoulder to the left shoulder here, and here we have the head, and then to take the trade lower, then I have another confluences, which are one, the price formation, which is left shoulder, head, and right shoulder. Two, third touch of the trend line. Three, it's simply the 4 hours resistance. Four, it will be, we make it here, just the price will come here. It will be the 61.80%. So for such a trade, and what I mean by such a trade, meaning shorting the euro Australian dollar from here, like 1.5140, like I have 4 confluences to take this trade. And in case I will take this trade from here, let's say like just we put it that way, and have 30 pips stop loss, right? And take this trade down to here minimum, right? So we took around like 19.6% in one trade. Does it mean that I leave actually like the trade running all this way down? No, because in that case, I will take, for example, 50% of the table from here, and then the rest I will leave it here. And actually, in that case, I would say the 1.45, which is making the trade like 21.5% trade, right? These are kind of setups which I really like to take, and I love to like work on such setups, right? But for the time being, I would like to see this like, you know, quick move down to actually take me to this trade up, and then we take it down. But does it mean that this is 100% is going to happen? No, unfortunately. It's not the way the market function, because simply we need to see what will happen. But just for your information, I have my buy limit already here for this trade. If it will happen, it would be like 9% like trade. Yeah, in case definitely it will move in the direction which I desire. In case I lose it, it's 1%. At the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. And actually, in case this trade will be lost, so what I would expect in that case that the price will come here. And what I said in the previous pair in GBP GBY, that once the price will actually break below the 61.8, so it will come to retest it, and then it continues and move lower. And actually, that will be also very interesting trade. And this is kind of the risk management or like risk reward ratio, right? Here, I'm risking 1% to 9%. And if I lose this 1%, actually, there is a big probability that the price will come to retest this. Why? Number one is to retest the 61.8, which is broken. Number two, to retest this area, which is simply, it will be broken support, but this time it will test it as a resistance. Number three is simply this turquoise line here, which is my 4-hour at this time, for the time being, because price is trading above, it's support, but once the price will break below, it will be resistant, right? So like Euro Australian, this is like top pair for me this week. And I do have already a buy limit order on this. So I put it in red. Euro USD, so it's really similar to Euro Australian because they almost both of them move the same. But we need actually to keep in mind what was happening on weekly basis. You see like doji, then you see the price moved up, and then like all way like sellers like, you know, stepped in and like pushed the price lower. And this is something to keep in mind on weekly. What I mean by that, it's exactly the same, right? Like Euro Australian. So price is trading here right now. What I do expect, or what I would love to see, is a price to come here up to create the right shoulder and then continue the move lower, which in that case also, you know, price doesn't move from A to B without, you know, having some formation like double top, head and shoulder, or whatever, right? So this is also what I do expect here, right? But I need to see what will happen here. So I'm in trade in Euro Australian. I would love to see also, maybe I will jump in a trade in Euro USD once it appear, right? But first I need to see the price action here. Sorry, I need to see the price action here, especially that right now price is kind of like consolidating in this area, right? It's kind of consolidating here. So I would love to see maybe like the price will come, break above here, then up, and then from here we go all the way down, or simply the price will simply just break below here, retest, and then just continue to move lower. So in both scenarios, these are very nice setups for me, and definitely the ones which I'm looking at, right? We need to keep in mind that we are at the monthly right now. That should be support level. So just like, let me make it right now, support level. Why? Because price is trading above. So that's definitely a monthly level, which is very, very strong level. But ideally for me, as I said, if the price will come here to create the right shoulder and then move down, right? So imagine if this will work out as a trade, yeah. And let's say we will take, I don't know, the trade from here on the retest, if it will happen. Because at the end of the day, it happened to me a lot of time when I miss the trade only by 1 or 2 bips. But if it happened, if that will happen, so we talk about like the way up, it's around 6%. And then the way down, we talk about, around 30 bips stop loss. And then we talk about like minimum here, which is like 11%, or actually to create the double bottom, which in that case would be like, you know, like 20%. Yeah. So these are kind of like type of trades which I really like because of the risk reward. I risk 1% for 6%. Here I risk 1% for 20%. And then Euro Australian as well. As I mentioned, here I risk 1% to 9%, right? So these are the ones which I really like and I do really, how to say, look at, yeah. Moving to use the GBY. So we can see like very strong US dollar. So just like break above this, but still we would like to see what will happen here at the monthly resistance level, right? Here we had like this uptrend, but definitely this is not valid anymore. Price simply broke above it, so it will be just like good to see what will happen here. Or according to these like lines, which you can see, usually price like to retrace from these points, right? So you can see here price, and then above it, didn't retrace, didn't retest. Then here price was kind of accumulating around this. And then maybe price just like will come from here. Just like, you know, maybe not like this, but maybe, I don't know, like price will come here to, I don't know, retest it and then like, you know, go up to here, yeah. Okay, so nothing, it's not interesting for me. Australian USD. On weekly, we can see we're in downtrend, first touch, second touch, and right now we are at the third touch. Also here, like first, second, and like third is not created yet. We need to know that in general, for the last couple of weeks, Australian dollar and New Zealand dollar are very strong. And why? Because like technically they are not that involved in what is happening between Russia and Ukraine on one side, Euro and Europe, because Europe, actually everything is happening in Europe, and also like US, because like, you know, of the sanctions they impose on Russia, etc. So we know last week, like we had like increase in the interest rate in US dollar. So I would like to see what will happen in this area right now. Yeah. So on daily, like, okay, let's see. So third touch of the trend line, but I'm just like conscious of what will happen here. Maybe we will see some kind of spike to this area, maybe, or maybe the price just will retrace from here. But for me personally, as Hisham, I would love to see what will happen here. So I'm not going to take any trade from here. I will only take a trade if the price will come and break below this, and then maybe at the retest, I will be interested to sell. So for me, I would only take a trade if the price break below and they come here, and then in that case, it will meet my trading strategy or plan. Then I can just like jump in a trade from here, sell limit 30 pips, sorry, stop loss, and then like, okay, just like happy life. For me, it's a good trade. definitely like in a long term, if you want like to say like first, second, third touch, and then like would we expect the price will come here? Yes, this is very like long term trade, which is simply swing trade, which if I will jump into this trade, I would like to hold it to the down. But definitely for such a trade, I can see like I have different targets like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So then I maybe, I don't know, like at each of this level, I will take 20% of my, let's say, profit. Yeah. But for the time being, this is also one pair which simply I would keep an eye on. Moving to New Zealand dollar, simply same story, because as I mentioned, like Australian and New Zealand, like they move the same way. We can see that the price here right now creating lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low, and then I would love to see how the price is actually will how to say like the price action here. But we have to keep in mind like how the weekly candle last week actually closed here. This is very strong bullish candle, right? So maybe it will continue to move higher, but that's maybe. I really need to see what will happen, right? Maybe, I don't know, maybe maybe the price will come here. If we move to daily, sorry, let me then move it from here, make it visible on daily as well. So maybe on daily, like the price, yeah, which will come here, take it like this. So maybe the price will come here to retest this 61.8%, which is also the broken, this area here, which you can see it worked here as a support, it worked here as a resistance, and then the price break above. So maybe it's time to check it as a support before the price will move higher. But for me, what I would love to see, so right now, we can say, okay, let's take this here. This is T. So I would say personally, as Hisham, so if the price will break below, I would wait for the retest and then take from here, trade to the 61.8, and then maybe take a trade up to this here. This is the scenario which I would be looking at this pair. So I would say here, short from here after the retest, 30 pips stop loss. I would aim for the 61. We're actually looking at this trade right now, just like 1 to 2 risk reward. It's not really what I like. It's not my trading style, so I wouldn't like to jump in this trade. Maybe I would be more looking to the move higher, if any. So it will be like interested in the move higher, which in that case will be like, for touch of the trend line, 61.8 retracement, and also a test of this area, which is like broken resistant, broken resistant, but it will be as support, which we had it actually on daily and weekly time frame. So this one also is interesting for me. USD Cad, I'll try to move quickly. As I mentioned here, on the weekly time frame from my video 2 weeks ago, we had left shoulder, head, and right shoulder. This is so strong, like bearish candle. And let's look at the daily. But right now, price is here at this point. For the time being, like nothing interesting for me. maybe if the price will break here, will come here. If the price will come here, then I will say to retest this as a broken trend line, and then like maybe to continue the move lower. But for the time being, like really nothing interesting for me on the USD Cad. Euro GBP. So also 2 weeks ago, I said like, look at such like candle, like 500 bips in 1 week. And I did say like the price broke here, and I would love to see what will happen. I'm not going to take any trade because I'm sure that a lot of retail traders, once you saw such a break, what they did, okay, time to sell. If they are smart enough, they would say, okay, time to sell from here at the retest. They will have their, I don't know, stop loss, I don't know, let's say 30 or 50 bips, whatever. And what the price did, bang, done. They lost this trade. What I said, I would love to see, I would love to wait and see how the price will react. And actually, I could see that the price had a very strong, actually, like retracement. And actually, it came back to this trend line again. And I said, I would love to maybe right now take a trade, buy trade, right? And I had this 2 weeks ago in my video, but unfortunately, price actually didn't retrace, didn't come to my point here. And yeah, so I was saying like the price will come here and then up and then down, right? But actually price didn't take me, but just I left it from 2 weeks ago, so you can see it as well. So for the time being, nothing interesting for me. US dollar franc, nothing interesting as well. The price was just like ranging in this, I don't know, like you can see in this range here since June 2021. So it's like really nothing interesting. Okay, it had very strong like bullish candle on weekly time frame, but then like as you can see with such like very like just what a bin bar like on weekly, yeah, like look how it is, right? Maybe we'll see something happening here, but it will be very good to see like, you know, how the price is going to react at this area. GBP Australian. So also 2 weeks ago, when the price also here like moved from 1.85 to 1.80, it's like 500 pips move. And I said I would love to see the price action here. And actually I had a trade in this pair and it was also like lost. I had like all my confluences met. So the price was ranging here. And then I said, I'm going to take a sell trade on this. Why? Because price broke out of this like consolidation zone, and I said the price will come to retest it. That was my first confluence. Second, to 61.8, and third, to continuation for the move lower. But actually what the price did, so the price came here. That was a bit funny trade, unlucky one, because as you can see, the price came here very close to my trade, right? And what it did, actually, like it just like traded 2 pips from my trade. Two pips from my entry point, and then it came like 0.65% in profit. But then just price, you know, started to move higher, and then I said, okay, just I leave it. At the end of the day, it was like 1 to. I was aiming for this. It was 1 to 5%. So I risk 1 in order to get 5. And I said, okay, it's not important for me. At the end of the day, it met my criteria to enter the trade. But at the end of the day, price simply just keep moving higher. So I lost this one. If I'm angry, not at all. Why? I gave the 4 reasons already in the GBP GBY trade. But just I wanted to keep it to show you that I share all profits and losses, right? And not everyone out there is doing that, right? So right now I'm going to remove all of this, and I would look at it right now on daily, and I'm sorry, on 4 hour. So what I do expect right now, similar to Euro Australian and Euro NZD, I would love to see the price to come from here to create the right shoulder to this, and then continue the move lower from here. Right? And this is what I am, let's say, looking for on this specific pair. Yeah. So what I would love to do, or what I would love to see, I have already. Here we can see we have this one here. So this is an area of already support. And here we have the left shoulder. Here is the head. And here I would love to see the right shoulder. And I would love to take the trade up from here. That will be, in case it will work, that will be like risking 1 to 8.6%. If I win this trade, it will be 8.6% profit. If I lose it, it's 1%. But for such a trade, why I like it? Because in case it will work, so the trade is going to be coming from here, like here, and then like here, 8.6, and then it will move lower. I would say minimum to come here again, which will be 8.6, or even to move lower, which will be, let's say, 15% or so. That's scenario number 1. Scenario number 2, I will lose this trade. I will wait for the retest, and from here, I'm going to take the trade down. So at the end of the day, risking 1 to 8. If I lose 1, then most probably price is going to come to retest this and then to move lower. Which is the end of the day to continue the move lower. Right? And it will come to this one, at least to retest these previous lows. So in a nutshell, I'm risking 1% to 8% in this trade in general, right? So yeah, thanks Guy for this. Thanks for listening to me. Sorry if it was long. Actually not following the time, but I believe it's definitely more than 1 hour. And I hope it was useful. And please let me know if you have any questions. Please let me know if you would like me to change anything. And in the coming weeks, I will be also sharing my analysis as well for cryptocurrencies, because I do have some investments in crypto as well, but not in Bitcoin. I use Bitcoin only to analyze the market, but I do have some investment in conversions, in ETP, which is Metaverse, Sia Coin, some orders already in Doji, XRB, and some in Binance Labs, Telcoin, Vetcoin, Dragon Chain. So I will be sharing this with you as well. And but yeah, in general, I'm not into Bitcoin at all, right? Once again, apologies for last week. I didn't have any analysis because I was on vacation. And here on red, I highlight the currencies, or the pairs, I'm sorry, which I'm interested in for the coming week. And yeah, so I will be also, maybe tomorrow or by Wednesday, I will make another video to review what happened already for today, which is Monday, tomorrow as well, and how my setups are working and what I do expect till the end of the week. And I will update you on any of the trades which I will be in, if any. Thanks a lot for that. And thanks for listening to me. And please, if you're interested in that, please subscribe to my channel, and yeah, let me know. Take care, guys. Bye bye.